Hi everybody, welcome to Deb's Way, and I'm Deb. This afternoon you're back in my sewing room again because I have to get the February quilt block done for the Pioneer Sampler collab that I'm working on with Tina at Striving for the Simple Life. So today I'm going to be working on February's block, which is the Rocky Mountain Puzzle. That's it right there. When I first looked at this, I looked at it and I thought, it looks pretty hard. But when I started reading the directions to it, because of other blocks that we worked on in the January Golden Gate, it's going to be not super simple, but it's going to be easy enough, okay? It's nothing to be afraid of. So I went ahead and cut out the pieces. I thought, this time I'm not going to put you through that. So I went ahead and cut out what I needed and kind of started a little bit. These are my two 8-inch squares. I have the dark and the light. I've already put them together, and I made the little pattern in pencil on the one side here that I'm breaking them up into 4 sections, 4 little squares, and then I did the diagonal lines across on all 4 squares. And on that diagonal line, just like with the little blocks that I made for the January quilt block, from this line I'm going to sew 1/4 of an inch on each side of the line in each block. Okay, I've got that all together here ready to go. I'm going to be sewing on that pretty soon. The other pieces that I cut apart were a 2-inch by 22-inch strip. This is one of my mediums. I've got 2 medium colors. This is the other medium color, and that is the center square. And then it called for different size of the light. I think this was 3.5-inch square, and this is a 4-inch square, and then a 4-inch square of the dark. So all of my pieces are cut. I'm going to get sewing on the 8-inch square and get this one cut apart into the little blocks that I need to sew together later. So let me get working on this, okay? Okay. I have sewn the diagonal lines. So now I'm pretty sure I'm going to cut these apart. I think that's what the next instruction is going to be. Yes. I am going to cut them apart and square them to 3.5 inches. So let me do that. Now I have 8 of these little triangle pieces that are going to turn out looking like this. I'm going to get these pressed up looking nice like a little square, and then do the trimming, and they'll be all ready to sew together. So I'll bring you back when I'm ready for that stage, okay? I'll be right back. I finished all my little squares. They've been pressed and trimmed up to 3.5-inch square little pieces. And now the next step is for me to put them aside. They'll come into play later. What I'm doing now is taking my 2-inch by 22-inch strip and putting it together with these are 2 of my second mediums. They're medium colors. I'm going to be putting this together, right sides together, and sewing it down, trimming it up, and continuing on, making a border around my center piece right here. It'll make sense when I get it all done, okay? So let me get sewing. Right sides together. Now I'm going to trim this off and put another border around my centerpiece right here. That's what that looks like. I'm going to press it. And once again, right sides together, and let's see here. See what that looks like. Yeah. Two sides done. Time to press it. Okay, I've got the, well, let me trim some threads here. Have the second border on. Let me continue and finish this, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. Finished. This is the center of the quilt block. So now I get to work on my pile of squares here that I have. I get to work on my pile of squares that I will be adding around this to finish my quilt block. Let me get it laid out here and I'll show you what I'm going to be working with. At this point, it's actually going together pretty quickly. I mean, I cut it out previously, did some trimming up, sewed things together, press, sew, press, sew. I'm reaching the final step here. A little confession time here. I was laying things out on my cutting board here, and I thought, I'm short a couple blocks. Well, then I went back to the directions and reread. Yes, I cut out 8 3.5-inch square blocks, or actually they were 4-inch blocks, but then I trimmed them down to 3.5-inch squares after I finished sewing them. But it also had me cut out 4-inch squares out of the light and the dark material, but it didn't tell me what I was going to do with them. So you actually need 10 of the 3.5-inch squares. So I took those 4-inch squares and I made my 2 extra squares that I needed. Had to kind of figure things out a little bit. So let me show you what I've got going here. And there. Okay, let me show you what I've got here. I've got to lower the camera down. This is the quilt block I'm going to be sewing together. Okay, so I'm almost done with it. I just need to stitch it together, and I'll bring you back when it's all finished. I'm getting ready to sew these together. What the directions say is that I'm going to, on the top row and the bottom row, I'm going to be working towards the light block. So I'm going to sew these two together, right sides together. Then I have 2 blocks together. Take this third block, sew that together with the 2 that are already sewn together. Then I have 3 squares together. And then the final, put that in there, sew it together, and I have my top row finished. Do the same with the bottom row here, but I'm working towards the light. You know, the same way that I did the top. I'll just kind of do it that way. Well, actually, I'll do the bottom the same way, so it will be this way and then the squares will go this way. And the same thing, turn that down, flip it that way, that's done, and same with this one, that way. But then when I turn it over, this may be confusing you a little bit, but you'll see. That's the way that the bottom row is going to end up going, okay? And then the side seams will be sewn together, just like that. And then when I have all the rows finished here, the top, bottom, and the sides, then I will attach it to my center. Okay, I'll bring it back when I'm all done. Well, I do say well a lot, don't I? I've been in my, hey, wait a minute, I see a thread here I need to pull. It's been, let's see here, maybe not more than 3 hours that I've been back here in my sewing room, and working diligently, working hard. I think I got it done right. But this is my February block. So now I have my January and my February blocks done, and I start on March next. I got plenty of time for March. I got February done in February. So March's block is going to be called Chisholm Trail, and that's the block. Okay. Same sort of squares to choose from, to work with. And it looks like it is just a bunch of squares that are cut on the diagonal. Anyway, I'll be reading the directions and I'll be starting that, well, in the next couple weeks for sure. But I will have it done before the end of March, okay? But once again, this is from the Pioneer Sampler. And it's a collab that I'm working on with Tina at Striving for the Simple Life, and there are a couple other ladies involved in it too, but I haven't seen what their quilts are looking like or how far they are. I'm feeling pretty good because I got January done, and now I have February done too. Moving right along. I could take my glasses off here. Hope you're all having a good one out there. You take care. And we'll be talking to you again real soon. But for right now, it's going to be bye. I'm going out to fix supper. I think I have a hungry little doggy and a hungry little husband out there. And I'm getting kind of hungry too. So anyway, y'all have a good one. Bye for now.